The songs took 5 years to write. And this took a couple years to paint.
Okay. What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment, and today for Cover Story we have the honor and privilege of being joined by my favorite rapper, great friend, Schoolie D. Thanks for coming through, man.
All right, just got here.
Yes, Schoolie touched down in LA, so we had to link up, man. At Scartman Studio, we're here in Huntington Park, right south of downtown LA. If you're online, definitely check them out, 5610soto.com. Now, for Cover Story, we have a great thing going on. It's a special episode, not only because of Schoolie D, but because Schoolie wants to do two covers, his first album and his most recent album. And because there's a very special reason, which we're about to get into. Right. So Schoolie, the self-titled debut album came out in '85. Here's a copy of it for everybody to check out. Right. So why, first of all, there's so much to ask, but why is this so important to you?
That's important to me because Overton Lloyd, Pedro Bell, and Richard Pryor. Some of the things that Richard Pryor was talking about was, I think it was on his 1976 album. He was talking about how Winos was arguing with one of the street dudes, and he was like, shit, nigga, you say the same thing, and you do the same thing we do. So I put that. Right. So that made me think about that. And of course, it's like you could see the direct connection, which you could see how much weed I was smoking. You know what I'm saying?
You don't say.
How much weed I was smoking, and how much Overton Lloyd and Pedro Bell inspired my art.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why that was, as I was creating the panels, I was thinking about the panels, and I almost forgot about them. I was actually writing the songs. So the art and the music was going together. And it just was like it was just gonna be a 12-inch because back then, 84, 85, no rappers were doing albums.
Right.
Then Run-DMC came out with an album. And I was like, well, fuck that shit. If Run-DMC come out with an album, Schoolie D should come out with an album.
Yeah.
So then I just kind of like start building everything around this, and as you can see, it's like I just ran out of space. I couldn't put the D on that motherfucker because I already started it.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions. Yeah. Where's the D?
Because
no pun intended.
No pun intended. Because it was like I already started the artwork, and it was going to be a 12-inch. It was going to be a 12-inch, and it was just like kind of like, and I needed the panels to line up.
Okay. Because
I didn't want to do each panel separately. This is like one piece of art, and it's a painting. So,
yeah. And with that too, I always thought about it like you misspelled some of the cuss words on there.
Because I was high. I misspelled some of the cuss words on there because, you know, I had them spelled right, but back then I was still living with my mom, and she would come down in the middle of the night and look at me. She was like, boy, how you gonna sell that? It's like, and she did have a point, which I didn't know. It's like if it's cussing on
the outside
of it, they can't display it.
Right.
At the store, they would have to put markers all over top of it. Now, when I've seen that, because you go to get like a Wild Man Steve, or any of those other guys, Red Fox or Mom's Man, if it was X-rated, they would have like a little black piece of tape.
Yeah, it's
so
a strip.
It was like, so I just misspelled the cuss words. I just erased it and, then painted it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then two, you got some of the song titles on here as well, and Shout Out Parkside. Yeah. So for you, what made you want to make sure to include like the P.S.K. on there, the Parkside, Shouting Out stuff?
For the same reason, Sure Knows the Voided Funk. They were very specific on where they came from and where they wanted to go. And it was kind of just like I said, it was like, we high enough. We need a little direction. You know what I'm saying?
To get through the maze?
We need a little direction. That was back in the day when people still had the double album cover. Right. We still had seeds in our weed. I don't know if anybody remember that shit. Still had to get the seeds out your weed, had the double album cover. Then you had to fucking, pour the seeds the fuck out and shit. Right. Had to crush that shit up and everything. So, gotta get the stems and all that bullshit. I don't know where that weed came from, man, but that was a prelude to crack.
Yeah, a little different day.
Yeah,
a little different era.
way little different day. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then you have different characters. So
Yeah.
on the one hand, I was always intrigued because your picture is not on here, but
Yeah.
then you're not. It's not just you; it's other people.
Yeah.
So who are these other characters, and what do they represent?
Well, see, a lot of people don't understand. Like back in the late '70s and the early '80s, like everybody black wasn't down with hip hop. You had like churches, you had like politicians.
I'd say most people were.
Most people thought it was actually punk rock. Everybody thought hip hop was a fad and it was like created by a bunch of hoodlums. They didn't understand how important it was. I got it right away because I was going to be, well, you know, we talked many times. I was going to be an artist and a musician, you know, and but it was like real important to just to let kids know, and back then I was still a kid, that we understood each other.
Right.
So when they read it, it was like, okay, my moms don't understand, but damn, this Schoolie D, that nigga dope. That's what I wanted motherfuckers to say. Like, how can you deny this? This music is unique and it's special to us, just like y'all had Mom's Maybelline or Wow Man Steve. They listen to all those X-rated records in the basement, all them church ladies. I know it. My mom went to church. Where do you think I got Richard Pryor from?
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
yeah.
And then, of course, you have the Square character, and especially on this album and on Saturday Night, there's a lot of talk about squares. So why was Squares such a
Rick
big deal?
James. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to be like see, it's like back in like the early '70s and shit. It's like if you call somebody like a square or a chump, those were fighting words. You can get stabbed. You know what I'm saying? If somebody did this, you wouldn't get no pussy. If a girl did this, all the girls in the fucking school knew. You was a square. Nobody wanted to be a square. Nobody wanted to be a square. And the squares was, they was the number one enemy. They was the number one enemy.
Well, if you can see, it says turn that sheet off, too.
Yeah.
They didn't want to hear it.
They didn't want to hear it.
No.
They denied it.
There it is.
Right.
Now, for those that are interested, you guys definitely got to check out the new Schoolie D album, which has multiple titles, which I'm going to let Schoolie D break down the difference.
Right.
But this is a full circle moment for Schoolie, his first album and his most recent album.
Right.
So, Schoolie, first of all, break down why the art and how it ties into the debut album.
Well, the artwork, it was the same concept as this. I started writing the songs, and the songs took 5 years to write. And this took a couple of years to paint.
Okay.
And as I was painting each song, different things were coming out.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if I'm not going to say anything, but it's like only a few people understand where this character came from. Famous movie. Some people know.
Some people will know.
Some people know. Some people will know. Harder they come, harder they fall. So the thing is, and the thing is, it was my ode to Richard Pryor because that nigga's crazy, and I was just thinking about it. I was thinking about my mom, and I remember seeing Richard Pryor and Johnny Carson in 1976. People don't know, a lot of black kids don't know who Johnny Carson was, but back in the day, Johnny Carson was, you know, he always had Richard Pryor and Flip Wilson. He always had the black comics come on. And I remember the night, it was a school night, and I asked my mom to stay up, and there was a debut of Richard Pryor's That Nigga's Crazy. And I remember waking my mom up, because she was in the bed, Ma, that's what I want to do when I grow up, except with music. She said, what? That nigga's crazy.
And here it is.
And here it is. It's also an ode to, like, this was like a real ode to Pedro Bell, and you can see there's a little rest in peace tombstone over here somewhere. I don't know if it made it's on the original art.
Yeah, because the art has changed a little bit.
Yeah, the artist, and it was like I was listening to I didn't know he was dead, but I was listening to a lot of Pedro Bell, a lot of Richard Pryor as I was.
Oh, it's up here.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yep.
Rest in peace. And all the other art and cartoons was created like maybe a month or two after I did the music.
Okay.
And I had to think about it. These two album covers were created as
you were doing it.
I was doing it.
And one main difference is there's not a lot of words relative to the Schoolie D album. So why'd you tone down on the words?
I
Or the
toned down
writing?
on the words because it was like more image.
Okay.
The imagery should probably say enough.
Oh, it says a lot, that's for sure.
It's like, you should be fucking scared. Cause this nigga's crazy.
And he's coming out.
He's just shooting up the place. And this motherfucker like, this nigga crazy. And everybody's like, this nigga crazy, yo, he crazy. And if you can see, there's a little dude right here spray painting on the wall. And, and I crossed out when the distribution company was just like, can you take the word nigger out? And I don't know how good I did with the taking the nigger out, but it's just,
Well, there's X's at least. At least there's some
I had to
X's.
repaint it and put the X's in.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. And then for people that need it, obviously you can get it on vinyl. It's on
Yeah.
Amazon and everything. So given that this is a full circle moment
Yeah.
musically,
Musically.
we got Chuck D,
Yeah.
you got Ice-T, Code Money's doing stuff.
Yeah.
What was it like seeing these side by side, understanding the full circleness of it?
Actually, this is the first time I've seen them side by side.
Really? Okay.
I've looked at them separately, but this is the first. I knew the significance because I knew as I was doing it why I was doing it, but I just never put them side
Okay.
by side because I didn't want this image to show up here.
Gotcha.
I wanted that Schoolie D to be that Schoolie
And what
D.
is the difference between the two Schoolie
that
Ds?
nigga crazy?
Well, what about this
that
guy?
nigga cool.
Oh, he's just cool.
He's just cool.
Okay.
He's just cool. You can see. He's just cool. Looking at his Gucci.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's about that time.
Yeah, he's mad. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference.
Okay. And looking back, what would you say is the legacy of each of these for you separately? Like, what's the legacy of this cover?
That cover is it's hard to get away from artistically. People ask for this, and they ask for this style, and it's kind of just like it's like a lot of artists. We try to break away from the stuff that made us really known and famous because we want to grow, and just this past couple of years, I understood that people really love this art, but it's hard. This style is so hard to recreate. If I tried to recreate it, and it's just like because I was such.
And what were you drawing it with?
I drew it, and then I did it with pen and ink.
Okay.
So.
Like a big pen? You mean?
No, pen and ink.
Oh, pen and okay, got
pen and ink, actual
Gotcha.
pen and ink.
Gotcha.
So this had to be like you could probably see some of the because once the pen and ink is down on the canvas,
It is down.
it's down on the canvas.
Right.
So some of the things you can say like here, like you can see I was like doing this and coughed and a little ink. So I had to like cover the glasses over. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just like fuck it, because it got the white out that didn't work, and gesso sometimes it covered it, but it didn't.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, there it is.
Well, there it is. So but this piece, I've actually decided to do 3 or 4 redos, just so it could be before I leave. It'll be the original, and it'll be
wow.
5 of these on Earth, and one of them is for sale tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah,
Right on time.
yeah. And this piece sold at Sotheby's.
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember you had sent that to me.
Yeah.
That was an incredible
Yeah,
moment.
that was an incredible moment. Like they're both. This would probably be easy to recreate, but it's still you can still see, you can still see that this is in a moment.
Absolutely.
You can still see like how cool I was here, how fucking insane I was here.
It's definitely a difference.
Yeah, it's a difference, but it's, yeah, so those are the special things that I can look at these two pieces and go, I could see how I actually was able to just be me in the moment.
Well, there it is with Schoolie D, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming through the cover story.
All right.
Appreciate it.